All right, welcome to the Sports Talk with Dylan Marsh. We are now in week 13 of college football week, but it is rivalry week, so it makes the week so much better. I'm joined with JD Marsh, as always, my brother. How you doing, man?
I am thankful it is rivalry week. It is the week of upsets.
Okay, there you go. You threw in some Thanksgiving stuff there. You're very thankful.
And I am very thankful for it. And happy Turkey Day to everybody out there. Spend it with your loved ones and watch some great college football.
Yeah, football. All right. Now, I didn't think JD would go that deep into it, but I'm also joined with someone off camera, Luke Slayball, who's going to be our game person who tells us which games are next. What's going on, Luke?
Not much, y'all. I'm just happy to be here.
All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first game on Thanksgiving with the LSU Tigers going to Kyle Field to take on the Texas A&M Aggies. And, Jay, this is a game that I think is on the line for both coaches. Coach Ogeron for sure with that loss to Florida last week. This game is definitely going to decide if he's even in the question for the head coaching job at LSU. And then also Kevin Sumlin as well, as the Texas A&M Aggies are just not themselves this year. And especially after losing Trevor Knight. They started off great. Then after they lost Trevor Knight, they just seemed to kind of fall apart because he was the heart and soul of that team. So with this game, I think LSU's got more to fight for in this game. I think Kevin Sumlin's going to be fine. I've heard some rumors about him maybe getting replaced, but I think they need to give him a couple more years of a chance to turn that team back around because they did lose their starting quarterback. They were ranked number 4 in the first college football playoff ranking, but now they are 5-6.
Against the spread, they're on their 8-3.
Oh, that's right. I don't know why I was reading that. Yeah, they're 8-3. I didn't think that was right. But with Trevor Knight out and Danny Etling's still in, Etling doesn't have impressive numbers, but that's because he plays for LSU. But then you have Fournette, who didn't even take the trip down to Kyle Field. And so you got Darius Geis, basically, he's just all game long. Do you think Geis is going to be a huge factor in this football game?
Well, he better be a huge factor if LSU wants a chance to win this ball game.
Okay. Do you think Texas A&M's got a good shot to finally beat LSU?
I do. I think that it's going to be a hard-fought game. I don't think it's going to be a very high-scoring game because LSU, without Leonard Fournette, let's just face it, they can't move the ball as well with him in the lineup.
Let's see. Missouri guys had 237 yards, I believe, and 4 touchdowns.
But that was against a piss-poor
Arkansas,
run
Darius
defense.
Geis had 253 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm just sorry, man. I'm saying Geis has some big games. But the Arkansas game, Fournette did play 2 quarters.
Yes.
But he did have 4 touchdowns, but only 90 yards. But that's because Etling cannot throw the football in the end zone. But with Trevor Knight being out and that offense basically losing all of its star power, I guess you could say.
Mojo.
Yeah, everything about Texas A&M has fallen apart since Trevor Knight got hurt. And why do you think these rumors about Kevin Sumlin being fired are around now? Just because they've lost these 2 games?
Maybe it's on the sole fact that he hasn't even been to an SEC championship game since he's been there.
Yeah, and do you think this game right here, the team that he cannot beat, the only team he cannot beat, LSU, do you think this game's maybe got a big factor?
Well, yeah, that'd be a start. You beat the team you have not beaten yet since you've been in the SEC. That'd be a huge start. I think you were saying earlier this is a must-win game for both coaches. I think Orgeron's out either way it goes.
I'm the same way with you.
But Sumlin, definitely it's a must-win game for him if he just wants to keep his job.
Okay, I don't agree firing him this year for sure. But A&M defense, again, not what it was when Trevor Knight was there. They've given up 428 yards.
It kind of reminds
total.
It kind of reminds me when
the season
last year when Baker Mayfield got hurt in that TCU game,
and how the team just collapsed.
How the defense just collapsed, and the team just wasn't the same. It's just like that. Once Trevor Knight went out of the ball game and didn't return, the defense just crumbled.
Yeah,
they lost their star player on offense, and it put their defense in bad spots.
Exactly. So I'm going to take LSU in this game. I'm taking the Tigers on the sole fact of I think Darius Geis is going to have a big game. I think Orgeron's out if they can't get Jimbo Fisher. They're definitely not going to get Tom Herman because we all know he's going to go to Texas.
How about this, Dylan? What if LSU wins this game and A&M fires someone and they get Herman?
Texas is his dream job, man. Texas is his dream job, and it's finally opened up for him. He's said it before. You know, he was a graduate assistant at Texas. I think it's all Texas for Herman, I believe. But anyway, all right, who do you got?
I got LSU too. I think that A&M will get within the 8-point spread, but I think LSU will win a hard-fought, low-scoring, tough football game with LSU just outgaining Texas A&M on the run because LSU's defense, in my opinion, is one of the best 5 defenses in the country.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't think A&M's going to be able to move the ball, but also I don't think that LSU's going to be able to move the ball other than run the ball somewhat decently against that pass rush and run defense against Texas A&M that's really stout. It's their secondary that's not that good. So that's why I'm taking LSU to win this game. I'm going to say about 3.
Okay. Well, we both agree on that one. So, all right, what's our next game, Luke?
TCU at Texas.
All right, so we have the team we're just talking about, Tom Herman's future team. Okay, before we get into it, what if Tom Herman stays at Houston after that big win against Houston? What if he stays? Who would Texas go after? They've already tried to go after Saban. He said no.
Les Miles.
You think they go after Les Miles? You don't think he's already got the Baylor job?
I'm not believing it.
You don't believe he got the Baylor job? All right.
I don't believe he's going to go to Baylor if Texas offers him.
Okay, that's true, but I don't think Texas would offer him. All right, but we got the Texas Longhorns. Biggest disappointment that I'm happy about. I hate Texas. All right, but the Longhorns, disappointing season. Basically, I've already fired Charlie Strong, but not officially. Players for Texas have threatened to boycott this game because they don't want Charlie Strong fired. What do you think about that? Do you think that's fair because the players want him, or do you think they should just suck it up and actually play the football game while they're there for? Exactly. I know what your answer is going to be, but
just like any protest, really, I believe that just suck it up. Play the game. Just play the game, guys. Come on.
All right. Here's another question before we get into this game. TCU having an awful year this year. They are just completely out of whack. Why isn't Gary Patterson's name in the mix of being fired? Patterson.
His tenure being there.
His tenure. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Kind of like
Bob
Brown.
Stoops.
Yeah, don't get me started on that one. Please don't get me started on that one. All right, but Shane Buechele, the outstanding freshman quarterback for the Longhorns, I guess you can say is outstanding freshman. 2,700 yards, 21 touchdowns, 10 picks on the year, going to go up against Kenny Trill, the worst quarterback in the nation, the worst quarterback with the most hype after being in the post-Manziel era at A&M and then just basically crapping his pants and then moving to TCU and crapping him even more. 2,800 yards, 15 touchdowns, 12 interceptions on the year, and basically ruined his whole football career at TCU. So this one's a tough one for me to pick, JD. It's either pick the crappy Horned Frogs or pick the Texas Longhorns. I'm taking Texas in this one because it's in Austin. I'm taking Texas in this one because, hey, if they're not going to protest, they're going to play their hearts out for little Charlie Strong, aren't they? Even though they can't save his job.
I really hate being your brother sometimes, Dylan, because
I'm sick. I am sick with myself picking the Texas Longhorns, but I am determined to beat you.
No. I'm not saying I'm sick of you being my brother because of the way you pick Texas Longhorns. I'm sick of it because you think the same way I do most of the time in games because I am going Texas too.
I hate you.
Because I believe, just like you do, that the team's going to play their hearts out for Charlie Strong and get them a huge win against TCU, which in their eyes, that is a huge win. Give the coach a win going out and get them bowl eligible.
Okay. You think they'll let Charlie Strong coach the bowl game?
Yeah, they have come out and said that if the university has come out and said that if he gets to a bowl game, he will coach it.
All right, so Luke, let's go game number 3.
We have number 16 Nebraska playing at Iowa.
Number 16 Nebraska at Iowa. Well, you had the Cornhuskers, who I believe were a huge surprise this year. Who I love them being surprised, and they lost their the star pupil in Tommy Armstrong, quarterback there, who had a heck of a season going on. 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns on the year. Then got a scary injury a couple weeks ago, and now they're just after that injury, they even won that game, but the committee really put them down on there just because of that injury, because he was that offense. So number 16, but they're going to Iowa, the team that beat Michigan. So, I'm going. All right, I'm picking the home team. Just kidding. Maybe not. You know what? Screw it. Yeah, I'm taking the Iowa Hawkeyes because I'm already in the lead of this predictions thing. Give me Iowa Hawkeyes in this one because I think without Tommy Armstrong Sr., this Hawkeyes defense is not what it was last year at all, but they are only giving up. When I say only, I mean they're giving up 158 yards rushing on the year, and that's what Nebraska has to fall on. But I think that's what they have to rely on now. And I think they're going to. I think they'll stop the run enough to barely beat Nebraska, to where they'll crack the top 25 in the college football rankings the next week.
Dylan, why do you do this?
JD, oh God, stop!
Why?
Stop it!
Like every time I plan on picking somebody, you just go and steal it from me.
Okay. How about you do the next? You do the next one first,
Yeah,
right? So
I'm taking Iowa to win this game. I've picked Iowa how many times this year, Dylan, and they've let me down?
like 20.
And the one time I don't pick them, they let me down again against Michigan. But, yeah, I'm taking Iowa. Without Tommy Armstrong, Nebraska just can't move the ball.
Not at all.
And that Iowa defense, like it was last year, just stout. So I can't pick against Iowa in Iowa City. So I'm going the Hawkeyes.
Okay. So, all right, Luke, what's our next game?
We have Kentucky at number 11, Louisville.
Louisville. So, we have the Heisman. Do you agree? Okay, we've had this discussion before. We got Lamar Jackson, the most outstanding player statistically in college football, with over 3,100 passing yards, 28 touchdowns. Only 6 picks. I'm impressed with that one. Then 1,300 rushing yards and 19 total touchdowns, which I'm impressed with that one. So, all right, I went down to Oklahoma this past week, and I talked to some people who are in the sports radio business down there, and I was talking to them. I was talking to former Oklahoma Heisman winning trophy quarterback, actually, Jason White, a little bit. When I say I was talking to him, I mean I was in the same room, and he heard my voice and answered my question. I don't know if he saw me. But we were talking about if anyone had a chance to strip this Heisman away from Lamar Jackson, it has to be Oklahoma's Baker Mayfield. And we'll get to that at the end of this show. But this game is actually huge. Kentucky this year, Louisville has on ESPN's matchup predictor 96.1% chance of winning this football game. But I think Louisville needs Kentucky. They're a good football team. They are the team that they like to pound the ball up the middle. They're basically a regular SEC offense. They run the ball up the middle. They're kind of like an LSU offense at least. They have a running back, 1,000-yard rusher, 6 touchdowns. But then you also have this Louisville defense, which is very good. And Louisville is only allowing 292 yards on the ground. I'm going to take Louisville in this game because Lamar Jackson, I think, is going to, because this isn't an elite SEC team. But this is a team Louisville definitely needs to look out for. It's a rivalry game, in-state rivalry. And Mark Stoops is a heck of a football coach. He's actually turned this Kentucky program around, even though they're not as good as everyone thinks they are, but they're a lot better than what they have been when he took it over. So I say this might be a game you look out for if you want to see a good football game. I say watch this one, but don't be surprised if it's a blowout. But I would not be surprised if Kentucky brings their A game. But Lamar Jackson, I think, needs to show up to win this football game, which he has all season long except for one game.
We finally disagree.
Oh, wow.
I am going Kentucky in this ball game. I think Mark Stoops has been watching that game film on how to contain Lamar Jackson.
I will say, ever since the Wake Forest game, I will say Tom Herman took a look at that Wake Forest game to show how they shut him down in the first half. No doubt. That was Houston. Houston, like you said before, is one of the best teams in the country, easily top 15, 20 probably. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
With Tom Herman. But I don't know about Mark Stoops. Maybe we should fire Bob and hire Mark in Oklahoma. But, okay, I'm just letting you know that. Okay, go.
Yeah, I'm going Kentucky. I think Mark is going to watch that game film hard against Houston and see how well they contained Lamar Jackson. Yes, they don't have Ed Oliver as defense tackle.
Oh, my God, he's a freak athlete.
But the way Houston just pursued to the football when it was in Jackson's hands will be the key factor. And I think Kentucky's defense is going to shut them down. And I honestly disagree with you. I think they'll be able to run the ball against this Louisville defense.
Okay. Yeah. No disagree.
I got Kentucky.
I think this is a game to watch. I really do. All right. So, Luke, the full name guy. What is our next game?
We have Notre Dame at number 12, USC.
USC. All right, y'all. This is Luke's first time on the show, so I'll cut him a break now. I will not harp on him for this. But USC now number 12 in the rankings with the new breakout star for the Trojans, the quarterback Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah. I don't know why. Darnold sticks out to me like it's a weird name. I don't know. I think it's Donald all the time, but it's Darnold. But 2,400 yards, 24 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions on the year. And Juju Smith-Schuster. There you go. That's a mouthful right there. But 59 receptions, 758 yards, and 8 touchdowns on the year. Finally showing what he can be and probably going to be one of the top receiving prospects in the draft this year. And with the Trojans offense with over close to 500 yards a game coming into this one. But you have this Notre Dame defense who is very inconsistent this year, as they always are with Brian Kelly. But I'm going to take USC. I'm going to be very careful on this one and not take an upset. But I'm taking USC in this one. Very close, because Notre Dame always seems to show up in big games and lose to the crappy teams, which is why Brian Kelly is going to get fired from the Fighting Irish. But I'm going to say Juju Smith-Schuster has a big game in this one to keep the Trojans in it. I'd say he has 3 touchdowns. No, don't know why. It's another gut feeling, stupid things I say. But I'm taking the Trojans on this one on the sole fact of they're starting to rebuild their image like they were in 2005. They're not as flashy or as talented as the Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush era, but they are starting to show that they can win. Again, I don't think they're going to need a Bush push to win this game against Notre Dame.
Yeah, USC's hot right now. That's for sure. Most experts are saying that they deserve a playoff spot in a rematch against Alabama. And I say that they are foolish.
No, I think that second half proved they don't need a second rematch against Alabama. Are you kidding me? Who said that?
Just turn it on ESPN, Dylan.
Of course, ESPN. Okay.
But I'm definitely going USC. I think they're two playing on cloud 9 right now. They're two rolling on high cylinders, and I just believe that they're going to be too much for this weak Notre Dame defense. It's weak this year. Yeah,
no, the Notre Dame defense is very weak. It's not. It's almost like Manti Te'o's girlfriend. It's not there ever. And I just want to say with Notre Dame, that's like the one team I cannot stand more than Texas, probably.
That's the team I hate the most.
But I don't know why. I think I was just raised that way. All right. But we got the picks written down, Luke?
Yep.
All right. Attaboy. I think he's doing it right now. But, Luke, why you do that? Go ahead and tell us. What is our next game? Try to pronounce the teams right again.
Michigan State at number 7, Penn State.
All right. JD, go ahead and take this one.
Give me Sparty.
You're going to take Michigan State? Wow. In Happy Valley.
The way that, when it's Happy Valley, the only game that matters in Happy Valley is the whiteout game.
And that one worked.
And that one already happened. And I think Mark D'Antonio, since they're not going to go to a bowl game, he's going to convince his team this is their bowl game. Mm-hmm. And that they are going to play their hearts out. Try to play spoilers. So I am definitely going Sparty in this one. It's kind of like a gut. Like you had these gut feelings, Dylan. It's just a gut feeling that I have a feeling that my prediction all year long after the Ohio State game that Oklahoma was going to get in the playoff. This is the one game that needs to happen for Oklahoma to get into the playoff. So I'm going Sparty.
Okay. I actually have a feeling too. I have a feeling that you're freaking wrong, JD. I have a feeling that this Penn State offense, this offense is fully loaded. This offense is stacked with a quarterback that's thrown over 2,600 yards, 17 touchdowns on the year, only 5 interceptions, and then a running back 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns. This team is very balanced on offense, and they're going up against a Sparty team. I like what you said about this being their bowl game. This is the game where they're probably going to get the most publicity or airtime. This is a big game for people to watch because this game has playoff implications. Penn State could make the college football playoff, but I think that's why Penn State is going to roll in Happy Valley.
The reason why I also picked Michigan State is because they were so close to beating Ohio State last week.
They were
so close.
It was a great football game, but they allow like around 166.1 yards per game. Michigan State does. That's rushing yards, and I think Penn State's going to run the ball all over them. I think I really like what James Franklin is doing there. Definitely turning the team around from that awful Sandusky stuff that happened, and I think they're starting to forget about it. And okay. Help me. The reason I'm not saying the running back for Penn State is I do not know how to pronounce his name. Is it Shaquan Barkley? Saquon? Shaquan? That sounds right. Shaquan Barkley. But Shaquan oh my gosh. Okay, I was on a bus on the way back from Texas, and I was watching the Penn State-Ohio State game. And this guy is so elusive. He reminds me of he's not the size of Adrian Peterson.
And I remember you asking me why I picked that game.
You know what, JD? I know. I am sorry about that. I did not see that one coming. Okay? But what I did see was Shaquan Barkley. Okay? That guy, he reminds me of an Adrian Peterson, of how elusive he is for his size, but then also how he can just juke and just slide off defenders. So I think he's going to be a huge factor in this Michigan State game. Give me Penn State by at least 10, but I have a good feeling about that one.
All right. What's our next game, Luke?
We have Minnesota at number 6, Wisconsin.
Okay, I see why Minnesota's 8-3. I like this game. Good job. High five. All right. So this is one of the games where I would look at JD and be like, "Why? Why'd you pick this one?" But no,
don't question me anymore. All I gotta say is just don't question me anymore after on my picks on games because obviously
didn't you pick Air Force and Boise State that I scratched out?
Well, that was just because we had too many games.
So, all right. So I have. I'm definitely taking Wisconsin in this one. Minnesota is a team to where, they run the ball very well. They have 2 1,000-yard rushers this year, but we've seen what Wisconsin can do. The committee thinks that they're the best 2-win team in the country, which could be true.
Best 2-win team in playoff implications. Best 2-win team, folks.
Yeah. Well, their defense only allows.
You mean 2-loss team?
What did I say? 2-win?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Y'all know what I did there. I drove from Oklahoma today. All right. Yeah. No. 2-loss team in the country. They defense allows 292 yards a game. they allow under 100 rushing yards a game, which is why I think Wisconsin's going to blow out Minnesota. I think if Minnesota wants a chance, they're going to have to start airing the ball out against this Wisconsin team because they allow close to 200 yards a game. This is a solid defense by the Badgers, and anchored down by J.J. Watt's little brother, TJ. We actually had a pick 6 last week. I don't know why that's a highlight in my head, but I'm taking Wisconsin in this one big, just because their defense is so strong, and Minnesota doesn't seem to have proved anything, even though they have an 8-3 record.
Yeah, I'm going Wisconsin. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, just on the sole fact this is rivalry week. I think I would take Minnesota to get within the 14-point spread if you're gambling people. Take Minnesota, in my opinion. And how well have I been on that this year, Dylan?
Pretty good.
When I tell people to pick the spread.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. See, you know everything about the spread. I don't know. I'm starting to learn more about this spread stuff.
Yes, but I would take Minnesota to get within 14 in that spread. But, yeah, you're right. I believe Minnesota's run defense won't be able to handle Clement in that backfield for Wisconsin, and let alone I don't think Minnesota will be able to run the ball on Wisconsin because they are a very run-heavy team. So, yeah, give me Wisconsin.
J.J. Watt. All right, Luke, what's our next game?
We have number 22, Utah, at number 9, Colorado.
All right. Again, my favorite surprise of the season, the Buffaloes of Boulder are now number 9 in the college football rankings. But this is a huge football game to watch on Fox, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. The 22 Utah Utes are traveling to Boulder, Colorado to take on the number 9 Colorado Buffaloes. And yes, the ESPN matchup predictor, which I think is kind of dumb, has Colorado with a 78.6% chance of winning, which I think is total bullcrap. I'm taking the Utes in this game against Colorado. And the sole fact is Joe Williams, the guy who retired for about 4 games, came back and is just lighting it up with over 1,000 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns, but then also with, I think, the receiver, I forgot his first name, Patrick, for the Utes, is having a heck of a season. He's just now starting to burst onto the scene, but 606 yards on the year. He's definitely the guy they go to get first downs. But another reason I'm picking this is because the defense of Colorado. Okay, now that I'm looking at the stats, the Utah defense gives up 387 yards a game compared to Colorado's 322. But again, with the gut feeling thing you were talking about, I have a feeling the Utes are going to upset Colorado and destroy their probably not going to happen playoff dreams. So give me the Utes just because of my gut feeling and because I think Joe Williams is awesome.
Well, Dylan, we are just disagreeing today, aren't we?
Wow.
I'm going with Colorado. The Buffalo are just too strong on defense, in my opinion. The way they held down Mike Leach's powerful offense, I just cannot pick against them. Give me the Utes in a loss for them, and I just believe that Colorado's going to get it done.
All right, Luke, so what's our next game?
We have South Carolina at number 4, Clemson.
Well, with this being in Clemson, I believe Clemson's going to not cover the spread of 24, but I believe that they will win this ballgame. I think Deshaun Watson will throw for a good amount of yardage, but since this is a rivalry game, I just cannot believe it's going to be a blowout. I think Clemson will control the game for most part, but when it comes down to it all, I just think Deshaun Watson's just going to be too much for that defense of South Carolina.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson, again, I don't think he deserves a Heisman. I'm not even sure if he deserves a invite to New York on the sole fact that he has 13 interceptions on the year. But, yes, he does have 28 touchdowns and 3,200 yards. But South Carolina, with the worst head coaching hire I've ever seen in my life, hiring Will Muschamp. I think hiring Will Muschamp is probably the worst. I think eating a bowl of nails for breakfast is probably a better thing to do than hire Will Muschamp as your head coach.
He's not a head coach.
You saw what he did to the University of freaking Florida. The team everyone wanted to play for, even though Urban Meyer left and Timmy Tebow left. Everyone wanted to go play for him. He got the greatest athletes to come for like 2 years. And guess what? He still only had like 7 wins? This dude destroyed a top powerhouse team in 3 years. And then he goes, he's an assistant at Auburn. He wins a national championship as an assistant. And then South Carolina's like, oh, our coach quit on us. Anybody want to coach? And you have Will Muschamp and a crowd of people with no one raising their hand. Hey, come over here. And okay, so they hire Will Muschamp. He's a national championship defensive coordinator. And now look what he's doing. South Carolina's awful.
They're 6-5.
Jitty.
That's horrible, but they're bowl eligible right now.
They're bowl. Okay, where are they going to go to? The Kraft Fight the Hunger Bowl? Oh, they come here. I'm not going to that. But with that being said, of course I'm going to say Clemson's going to destroy South Carolina, right? Wrong. Wrong. Clemson's going to win, but not by too much, by 17 points. See, you thought I was going to say like 3.
That's what I said too. 17. Nice.
Really?
On my pick.
Oh, attaboy. All right, so the brothers agree again perfectly. Deshaun Watson's going to have 3 touchdowns. I think he's going to rush for exactly 72 yards and a touchdown. So give me the Clemson Tigers.
Mark that down there, Luke. 72 yards and a touchdown rushing for Deshaun Watson.
Crap. All right. So, Lucas, after you get done writing that down, what is our next game?
We had number 15 Florida at number 14 Florida State.
One of my favorite rivalry games in rivalry week, Dylan.
Okay. Well,
the Sunshine State.
Oh, Florida. Never mind, I'm not going to say it. All right. I heard it on a movie. All right. Well, Luke Del Rio, still out. DeAndre Francois, the phenomenal freshman is what they say, right? Then Dalvin Cook, who, why is he not being talked about in the Heisman? Is it because they're not winning?
Yeah.
Yes, that is true. But 1,400 yards and 17 touchdowns on the year. This dude is carrying the Seminole Nation on his back and having a Heisman record year. And no one is talking about him. Well, I think he deserves at least an invitation because the past 3 years he has been killing it in Florida State. And but no, I'm taking Florida State in this one. Yes, Florida beat LSU, big whoop. The game was supposed to be in Florida. It wasn't a night game. Florida did very well and said, basically, whenever LSU was like, hey, so since we're having a game here, you get to choose the time. They're like, noon. Well, I'm thinking we should do about 6:30. No, noon.
They didn't want to play.
They do not want to play a night game in Baton Rouge. And they were smart with that. And see what happens. They win. Barely. But they won. And I bet that home field advantage at night would have made up that difference. Do you?
Oh, yeah.
And I would agree, honestly. There's some people in the room who are going to be pissed at this. I think Florida would have definitely won if it was in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
If Luke Del Rio was healthy.
The thing about Florida, even though they're banged up, they had the right people playing the right position. Yeah. LSU, they were just so dismantled from Les Miles managing that program.
Yeah.
That you just can't fix it right now.
Yeah.
It's going to take a couple seasons for LSU's program to get back on the right track.
Yeah. I'm there with you. But another thing that picks me to be Florida State is having close to 500 yards a game on offense. Francois is he's a freshman. Florida State can win a championship in the next couple of years with Francois. If you watch him play, he is sensational. But Florida's defense only gives up 282 yards a game. But this game is going to show that they haven't gone up against an offense like with Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Francois. This team is great, but their defense gives up. The Seminoles' defense gives up 370 yards a game, which is why they are having these problems. And if Jimbo Fisher leaves Florida State, I don't know what Florida State's going to do. I think he's the reason that they do so well. So if he's gone, I don't know what to do. I love seeing Florida State succeed. I don't know why. I really do like Florida State. Don't know what it is about them, but I hope he stays there. If he goes to LSU, that's great. It's going to help LSU a lot. But he's the reason Florida State's so good and why they had a national championship under Jameis Winston. You good? I'm good. I'm good. You good? You good? Let's go. That was Jameis Winston. All right. You already made your pick, didn't you? I see. I'm out of it. Lucas, what
I
is the
haven't
next?
picked yet, Dylan.
Oh, well, don't look at me like that.
I'm going Gators.
Oh, I thought you were clapping at me. Jeez, you
I
scared
am
me.
going Gators.
Ooh.
I believe that this defense is going to shut down Dalvin Cook and Francois of that offense. I just believe that they're going to be way too much for Florida State's offense to be able to move the ball. And I believe finally Florida's going to be able to run the ball a little bit against this Florida State defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have a feeling. I'm really going off a gut feeling. I just feel like Florida's going to try to take all the great momentum that they have and put it in this game to carry themselves into the SEC championship where they're going to just get manhandled.
Oh, no. No, Alabama is basically going to play.
I think this is where they're going to try to play their best game to give the playoff committee their highest ranking. That way they can get into a better bowl game.
Yeah, exactly. And what you said about the SEC championship game with Florida and Alabama is going to be like this. It's going to be like, let's say me as a 21-year-old going up against a fat 11-year-old kid in the backyard playing football.
Judge.
Because I am one of those I'm one of those, I'm one of those big people who can't really run very fast, but I can still just destroy him just because I'm older, more experienced, and stronger.
If nobody knows who he's talking about, he's talking about our 11-year-old cousin Judge.
Okay. Well, I don't like calling people out. But with that being said, Florida, I've been seeing stuff on social media about alumni from Florida and everybody saying like, "Oh, look at us. We could win the SEC." You could. Turn off your PlayStation and go to the game because that's where reality checks in and there's no way they're going to stop Hurts, Scarborough,
Damian Harris.
Yeah, Harris. That's what I was thinking of. Damian Harris. They're not going to stop that Alabama defense, which is insane. It's just basically unstoppable. But they are not going to win. Okay, yeah, whatever. All right. So, Luke, what is our next game?
And we have number 5, Washington at number 23, Washington State.
I know we're both going to agree on this one, Dylan.
I have been telling you all year long.
Haven't I been agreeing with you?
I've been looking forward to this football game.
Haven't I been agreeing
Mike
with you,
Leach, Chris Peterson, meeting up in, I don't know where Washington State's at, but at Washington State.
For all you fans out there that listen to our podcast, these are the two crazy uncles that meet with you at Thanksgiving dinner.
It's more like you have Chris Peterson, the guy who's very successful at a small business,
local business,
but loves to play tricks on you.
Yes.
Then you have Mike Leach, who
the crazy alcoholic uncle you have.
Yes, and if you go outside and play football with him, all he wants to do is throw the ball as high and far as he can and hope that you catch it. But then also screams at you whenever you take the last soda. That's basically what these coaches are. And when you put these two together, you're going to have the best game of the year, I think. This game is going to be a very high-scoring football game. You have,
what time is that game, Dylan?
That game is 2:30 on Fox. Wow, I'm way too excited about this. All right, but you have Josh Browning, supposed to be a Heisman candidate. Washington's number 5 in the college football rankings. Josh Browning, 2,800 yards, 37 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, going up against Falk for Washington State. Listen to these numbers. You ready? Basically identical. 3,900 yards, 36 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So you have probably two of the best quarterbacks in the country, at least, efficiency-wise, going at it. And But Washington has a 1,000-yard rusher, so I think their offense is a little bit more balanced out. But the defense of Washington is just, I think, is so much better than Washington State. I think, it's going to be hard for me to pick against the Huskies, but I'm taking the Cougars in this one because I think Mike Leach is basically turning this team into the next Texas Tech. He's going to be there for 4, 5, 6 years maybe. Then he's going to build it up to where they're going to be a top 5 team, and they're going to beat a huge team. Then they're going to lose one crappy game at the end of the season, And
crappy game that year they lost to Oklahoma. Don't they?
Yes, I know, but they've done it before. But they give up 400 yards of offense. They give up 400 yards of offense against them, but they average 512. And 380 passing yards a game. Oh my goodness, what is this? I'm so excited about this game. Yes, I'm taking the Cougars in this one, but I think this is going to be the highest scoring game of the season. I think Washington's defense is going to be like, all right, Browning, do what they're doing. It seems to be working. Just throw the ball. So I got the Cougars. I have a feeling you got the Cougars too.
I do have the Cougars. And Dylan, you're saying this is going to be one of the highest scoring games of the season?
Yes.
You want to know how high scoring I think it's going to be?
Let me guess. 7-3.
I got the Cougars winning 68-65.
What?
Yeah. That's how high scoring I think it's going to be.
Wow. 68 points?
To 65 points.
Who?
Cougars.
Cougars.
I'm taking Washington State.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, right.
You have them winning by 3, but both reaching 60 points. Okay, I don't know if there's enough time in the game for that one, James. But JD's still on the screen. He's whispering. But let's.
I was telling Luke to write down 68-65 victory for Washington State.
Well, Luke, what's our next game, bud?
We have number 13 Auburn at number 1 Alabama.
Who we got the Iron Bowl? We've got the okay, Jay. This is the last one of the. This is the last predict. Is this the last game?
Nope.
No, it's not. Okay. Why did I forget? Wow, I forgot the biggest game of the week. Wow. Wrong. All right.
Wrong.
So we have number 1 Alabama,
Are we
who I
live?
just said is completely unstoppable.
Are we live?
And then we have number 13 Auburn, who beat LSU and then went on a little roll. Everyone jumped on their high horse about the Tigers of Auburn. You got Luke over here making sound effects. But there's no way Auburn's defense, who is giving up 216 rushing yards a game, I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a huge game. I think Jalen Hurts, with this game, gets invited to New York to maybe challenge Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson for that Heisman. He's just going to get there to go. He's going to be that annual freshman that shows up and no one talks to. But I'm taking Bama in this one big time. I think their offense, like I've said a lot this year, Lane Kiffin getting Jalen Hurts is basically
getting caught with your hand in the cookie jar and your mom saying, all right, it's okay.
That's fine. Well, not just that this is the type of quarterback that Bama's needed. They've had A.J. McCarron. They've had McElroy. They've had all these, pocket passers who've never been able to run. Now, since he's gotten a modern style college quarterback, they are just killing it. I say Hurts has over 100 rushing yards. I say Hurts has about 4 touchdowns. I say Auburn's offense scores. I'm gonna be lenient. I'm gonna give them some points here. I'm gonna say they score 17 points. I think this is gonna be a blowout. I think Bama is going to destroy them. I don't. Again, this is a gut feeling. Usually, I would pick this to be a close game, but I really just do not see this one being a close game because I feel like it's got too much hype.
Yeah, I got Bama too. This is just going to be a blowout. With it being in Tuscaloosa, the crowd's going to be rolling on all tides, and it's just going to be bad. Auburn's going to come in there all hyped up, and they're going to feel like they got hit by a freight train.
Yeah.
After it's going to be bad. I got Bama winning by 35.
Okay. So, Luke, what's our next one?
Last
I think we all know. So Jay, you go first.
Last one. It's number 3, Michigan at number 2, Ohio State.
I got Ohio State winning this game big.
Oh, whoa! What?
17 points.
You have Ohio State winning by. All right, it's time to debate. All right, so repeat what you just said, just in case someone missed it.
The Ohio State University will beat Michigan University by 17 points.
So, all right. I say Michigan wins this football game. I say Michigan wins it by no less than 3 points, because I think this is going to be one hell of a football game. And I believe the hype is real. I'm actually very upset it starts at 11 because I'm going to have to get up to watch this. Saturdays are my sleep-in days, but I'm getting up to watch this one. Michigan does not have William Spate. That is true. They have John O'Korn.
That is
who
why I picked
played
Ohio State to blow them out.
Terrible last week and against Indiana. But I know that's a reason for you to do that. But like I've said all year, I really like Michigan. I love Jim Harbaugh, and I think Jim Harbaugh is. Luke, you can talk about that. You can say your opinion on this too. Okay, first off, is Jim Harbaugh? He's crazy. Am I wrong?
Yes.
I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. I'm agreeing.
Is he crazy?
Yeah, he's crazy.
What if does this not sound like a Jim Harbaugh thing to do?
What, him
Hey,
dress up
Jim.
and play quarterback himself?
Hey Jim. I'm sorry. Hey John O'Korn. I'm in my office. Hey bud, I know this is your first collegiate game, but I need you to play like crap. No, don't worry. We're still gonna win. It's just don't try too hard. You see, what we're gonna do, we're gonna make you look not really that great. So when they see the film of this game, maybe do something that you usually don't do. But when it comes to Ohio State, just do what you usually do. This is one of the top-rated quarterbacks out of the country coming to play for Michigan this coming week in the shoe against Ohio State. Does it not sound like a Jim Harbaugh thing to do, to be like, okay, don't play to your top ability. Make him overlook you a little bit. Do you think that could be something Jim Harbaugh does? Because I think this John O'Korn, I've heard a lot about him. And him only completing 9 passes against Indiana, I do not see that. It sounds stupid, I know. But I could see that happening. I think John O'Korn has a decent football game. I think Jabril Peppers makes plays on 3 sides of the football, if there's a thing. You got special teams, offense, and defense. I think he has at least 2 touchdowns in this game. I think they're going to use him a lot against this Ohio State team. So I'm taking Michigan, and it's a gut feeling, but I really think it comes to coaching too. Urban Meyer's a heck of a football coach, but John Harbaugh just has that X factor about him. Urban Meyer is that coach that will sit there and watch film. He's an Urban Meyer type of coach. He really is. But Jim Harbaugh, I don't know. He gambles a lot, which is why I think they're going to win. I think he's going to have to gamble to beat this Ohio State team, especially at home. So I'm taking Michigan.
Folks, that is just about the craziest thing I've ever heard. What in your right...
Is he not the craziest coach you've ever seen?
What in your right mind makes you think that he would pull in his quarterback to his office and say, hey...
Maybe it wasn't his office. Maybe it was his locker.
Like crap. No, doing
okay,
no.
Jitty, I didn't tell him to play. Jitty. Okay.
Were those not his exact words?
Okay, Jitty.
See,
basically, not to play to his full, like to do things to where he's not going.
Okay. No coach in their right mind's going to do that.
I could see Jim Harbaugh doing it.
No.
Jitty. I'm telling you, John O'Korn's not going to look like the John O'Korn of the Indiana game.
Okay, I got Ohio State's going to beat him.
And Jitty,
pretty handily.
I'm not saying he did. I'm saying, doesn't it seem like he could?
No,
he is the type of
seem like Jim Harbaugh.
You don't pay attention to him then. All right. Well, is that the last game?
Yes, it is.
That was the last game.
And so before we go, Jay, hey Zach, how far along are we into this?
The time.
Yeah, what's the time say? All right, 49 minutes. So You want to do the rankings?
No.
You don't want to do the rankings?
Not anymore.
I don't give a crap. So we're still doing it. All right, so number 4. Who do you think is going to be number 4 to 1 at the end of the week?
After this week?
Yes.
I think that Bama will be 1. I think Ohio State will stay 2. I think that Clemson will be 3. And I believe that they'll move Nebraska into 4.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Nebraska's 6 right now. Number 5.
You mean Wisconsin?
Yeah, Wisconsin's number 6 right now. And when Washington gets beat and when Michigan gets beat, they'll move them up to 4.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna go Bama, Michigan, Clemson, Wisconsin. So basically, we only agree about that. But next week is the week where the whole ranking system is just going to explode.
Yes, it
with
is.
the conference championships and conference champions, like somehow maybe a 10 conference champion is going to jump up to 4. Especially how it happened these past 2 years. So it's going to be very exciting. And so, thanks for joining, Jay. I love screaming at you.
It's always a pleasure.
Always screaming at you. Luke, thank you for mispronouncing some of the things. You can do this again. We'll give you some practice. All right, and thanks to Zach for producing everything. So, again, thank you all for joining us, and God bless.
See y'all.